everyone. Welcome to our full moon special. We get one a month. Good times. Yeah. So when is don't we have a couple days still, don't we? Isn't it like
no, it's tomorrow.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
Okay. I don't know. I'm if you guys don't know, so my Sumerian language lessons are being compiled into a book. It's in semi-final editing stage, so I'm writing like 6 to 8 hours a day, and I don't know which ways up and down half the time, so I'm a little brain dead. And yesterday I came back from the gym and cleaned for like 8 hours straight. It was one of those days where I just had like tons of energy. And I don't feel terrible today, but I'm definitely a little less than stellar. We'll put it that way. So if I start slurring my words here soon, I didn't take anything. It's just exhaustion. And apparently my daughter just dropped a mouse in her room, and now it's loose. And so there's that disaster going on too. Niki, how about you? How's your almost full moon going?
Oh my God, I've never been better.
Are you being sarcastic?
No, not at all. Not at all. No, okay. I've never been better, actually.
Oh, okay. All right, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's just another full moon.
Your cat's mad at you though?
Okay, yeah. He's really pissed off at me today. And like, I don't know where it started, but like he got mad yesterday. He wants to go outside. He wants to sit and chill outside. And I'm like, I'm good with that. I'll fucking do that for you. I'll do anything for you, but then he'll run and hide underneath the porch, or he'll like go under some bushes and he'll do some shady stuff. Yeah. He just meowed and he's like, not me. Mm-hmm. So he's just a little tension here with my roommate. But that's okay. Everything else is pretty good. So, did you freeze up?
Oh
yeah, you did. Okay, cool.
Screen, and it crashed my StreamYard.
Yeah, damn.
So your cat's outside, I guess, now?
Well, yeah, we're having he's really mad. Oh my God, I wish I could show you guys. He's rolling his eyes. He's looking up. We're just it's just roommate stuff,
Okay.
Like roommate stuff. But yeah, I've been a little challenged this week. I don't know. I guess I'm trying to not have an attitude, but I felt like just the hate seething through me yesterday. I was like, what is this?
What do you think that was?
This? I don't really know, because I'm usually pretty optimistic and pretty happy. And I didn't even want to look at where everything was. I was like, I don't even care. I don't even care anymore. And it's just like days of it. I'm like, screw it,
Okay.
Yeah. It could just be, I don't know. I was just like looking at the Mars South Node conjunction, and I was like, okay. Like,
it could be that. Yeah. That's a sensitivity time for sure.
Yeah. A lot of past stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, let's, do you want to get into it right away?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go for it.
Hell yeah. What do you got for us? Well, we still have the sun in Gemini, guys. And guess who's not in Gemini? Uranus. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That was another thing that triggered me. I've been trying to stay off of social media, and I go on there and they're like, guess what, everybody? Uranus entered Gemini, and that's why everything is so screwy. And I'm like, wow, you guys will think of all this shit. Like, you just come and make stuff up, like, instead of actually looking at the sky. That's not real. It's not there, guys. It's still in Taurus, in the very first degrees of Taurus too. So the sun is in Gemini, Jupiter is in Gemini, Uranus, wherever he is. Yeah.
Right. Conjunct with the Pleiades. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Which could probably, I don't know, maybe kick off a little something.
Yeah, maybe. But this is a long transit. Let's see how long it is.
Yeah, very long.
Let's do some math here. What do we got? Uranus. Do I have Uranus on here? Nope, I don't have Uranus. Hold on, let me grab it again. Uranus, good. All right, so probably if we have to call it, I'm going to say 2023 into 20. So probably I don't know. I would say at least August of last year into where is this going to be? Probably right around August of 2026. So like a 2-year period where we have this conjunction, depending on how tight you want to go with the Pleiades. I mean, we can definitely see some bizarreness since August of 2024, sure, like around that whole period. But I mean, it's hard. It's such a weird time in human history just for everything going on. I don't think that we could
you can't pin it just on Uranus and entering a sign. I mean, you just can't, not when you have Uranus trining, you know, Pluto and oh my God, Saturn and Neptune are in aspect. I mean, Saturn and Neptune are in aspect with Uranus too. So, I mean, there's this like little trine going, you know, grand trine, whatever it is. I forget the name of it, how it's connected, but it's like a little triangle of pattern breaking energy there with these outer planets that are just, it's powerful. It looks so small, yet it packs a punch. You know, but that's, you know, we got the Gemini Sagittarius axis, and that's a lot about information, a lot about like putting patterns together, seeing, you know, the bigger picture, what we imagine is, you know, the bigger picture with what information that we have. Because I really like to talk a little bit about Jupiter and Mercury.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, Jupiter and Mercury, they just started a brand new cycle in Gemini, which is pretty cool, I think. I forgot what was aspecting when they started their new cycle, but I've been having these conversations with my chat GPT, which I noticed like they're just kind of people pleasing. Like my chat GPTs are like, oh, you're so right, Niki. Even when I'm not, I'm like, look, I put some wrong information in here, and you're like, yeah, you're so good at them. So I got to start talking to real people because chat isn't fulfilling that.
He's not trustworthy anymore.
No, I can't even trust that fucking guy. God. Or girl, whatever. Anyway.
It's still good to hear somebody give you positive feedback, even if it's
all the time. Oh, yeah. I do. I see that sucks me in. I'm like, oh, you're going to tell me nice things. I'm flattered. I'm going to just keep going back. But yeah. Anyway, back to Mercury and Jupiter. The cycle. Yeah, the cycle. So they just began a new cycle. And when we talk about Mercury and Jupiter, you can look at like myth and how the stories work out. And a lot of people know Greek mythology. So they know, you know, Mercury as the messenger, as the guy who's bringing the gods all the different messages. And he doesn't always have all the information, okay? And we only really can take the information that we have, and we build our beliefs off of that. We build our personal values and virtues and things like that off of what we know and what information that we get. And I just kind of want to put it out there that I don't feel like it's always Neptune causing, you know, illusions and disillusionments and misunderstandings. Because, I mean, we were having all of those long before Neptune was ever discovered or involved.
That's a great observation, Niki.
Yeah. Isn't it? I mean, I love, the more I talk to people about their Neptune placements, the more I am more leaning towards Neptune being that communication planet, but on the sense of like cosmic communication, the sense of, you know, where it's psychic information, it's a knowing, it's, you know, not necessarily like symbols and pictures like you would get with, you know, Jupiter or anything like that. You would, you know, Neptune, it's more like a feeling, like a knowing, like, oh God, isn't it really hard to kind of explain and put your thumb on Neptune?
No, I don't have a hard time.
I love your interpretation of Neptune. I really do. I love when you were explaining Neptune to me. It gave me those thoughts. I'm like, well, okay, then where does it go wrong in the line of, information that we're getting? Because usually
I can give you my take on where it goes wrong. I don't know if it's about
Yes.
the information that we're getting, unless, okay, so here's the thing. In my assessment, you guys, Neptune very much is similar to the energy we have with Enki. He is the god of fresh water. He has a very active sex drive. He's the god of all the crafts, all the knowledge, art, sciences, all of the, so to speak, gifts of civilization. So his big issue was, like, one of the big things that happened with him was when improperly channeled, his creative power, his artistic power became detrimental, and it started to he kind of self-destructs a little bit. It's a really long incestuous story where he's basically banging all of his granddaughters, and it's just a metaphor for he's not a real person, but there's this whole experience where he's got one foot in the river and one foot on the land, and this is where the copulation is taking place. And it's basically this metaphor for words are hard today.
Yes.
The interaction between the land and the water and the life that springs up from there. But basically, he can't control his libido, his creative power. And so he ends up really upsetting his consort, the Earth, who's like tired of this after a while, him impregnating all of his granddaughters and whatnot. So she creates these plants, and he eats them because he doesn't know what they are. And he wants to, he wants to know. He wants to learn the information because that's what he's all about. And then they make him sick, and he gets really sick. And we assume that maybe he's going to die. And they have to do this whole song and dance to get Ninhursag, or the Earth, his consort, to basically heal him through more intercourse and more producing these goddesses, these children, that they all have this special power to heal different parts of the body and whatnot. So this is all just one big way of saying that if you have a lot of creative energy, this is the sexual energy, this is the creative drive. And if you don't do something positive and productive with this, you don't have like a positive way to channel it, you're basically gonna, it's gonna eat you up inside. And your life is probably going to suck because of it. You may even have lots of health issues. Like we can kind of see this. I mean, I'm just going to use an anecdotal situation here. I don't really have stats on this, but I would be willing to bet a lot of the people that you see like on the street, a lot of homeless people, drug addicts, just a wide array of people that can't hold down a job. I'm not talking about the homeless people that actually have jobs, but they just can't afford a place to live because it's too expensive. We're not talking about that. But I would imagine a lot of them are natural artists. They're musicians. They don't belong in a 9-to-5 job to start with. They're creators, and they have all of this artistic or creative talent. And the normal society just doesn't have like an outlet for that, at least not one that is reasonable. And so they end up kind of self-destructing. They turn to drugs and alcohol to try to escape and go into like a more fantastic landscape that mirrors their artistic and creative talents. Now, again, I don't know. I'm taking a guess based on the people that I've met and stuff, and, like things that I've seen. But in that respect, if we're looking how Neptune could negatively impact people in general, I would say, if I'm extrapolating from this, I would say that deception is possible anytime you're dealing with communication, maybe trying to deceive people to get something that you want, as opposed to like speaking your truth and doing what's best for the group, the community, or even yourself. Basically trying to be, it's being unscrupulous and trying to get your way, or being kind of shady, or just straight up self-destructing, like just eating ourselves up through the information and not doing anything productive with it. So doom scrolling on social media would be a good example of a way that Neptune maybe could go wrong. It's taking your creative drive and impulses, and then it is, just letting it, just twisting it inside of you until nothing, you don't accomplish anything. You don't produce anything. So, hey everybody. Hi, Look Up Astrology. Hi, Lauren of the Merry Mystic. Hey, everybody. How's it going? We were a little late here jumping on. Nikki's cat was attacking her and I lost a mouse. So that's how we're starting our full moon special today. So I don't know, Nikki, like, what do you take from that? Like, what do you think about that?
Oh no, I totally see that. I see that creative energy with Neptune, that definitely like artistic side of it. Definitely the intuitive connection to, the spiritual realms. I see a lot of that. And actually I have Neptune conjunct my South Node. So, I've experienced a lot of that, a lot of what you were talking about. It's hard to, I think, assimilate to the world and the structures we have set up. It's just not for like artists. It's not for free thinkers. Like, we've literally set up structures and in a society that doesn't reward creativity. It doesn't care about that. It's just, I don't know, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, creativity, if you can make money for some big corporation.
Exactly. I mean, yeah. And we talk about creativity, and people now have just, and I was the same way. If you can't make money off of it, then why are you doing it? That's the kind of been the attitude. Yeah, it doesn't have any value. You don't follow what you love. You do what you have to do to make money. Like, when I was in my early 20s, that was it. That was like, I was laughed at. Like, you could never be like an artist, because that's not going to buy your kids diapers. That's not going to pay your rent. Like, so I was like, okay, you don't cultivate those gifts then when, you have all of these other societal pressures, I mean, look at what happened to music. I mean, they used to take bands, and record companies would hole them up in a home or somewhere that had a recording studio, and give them anything they wanted or needed to be creative and to create the music that they needed. And now it's just gotten so, I don't know what the hell happened to mainstream music. It's pretty gross.
It's terrible. It's really commercial. It's soulless. Yeah. It's not good. Not a good situation.
But but getting back to it though, like Mercury and Jupiter, have just began their new cycle on information. And what, I think it's important to look at that cycle, even though it's probably not a major one. I mean, Mercury moves really fast. But I think it really does affect like what we believe in our personalities, like in how we, show up in the world, because what we believe and what we think we know plays a huge part in how we play like our part, on the planet. We're here playing little parts for other people, not only just for ourselves, but, we show up on this planet to, help others, and play the part, who wants to play this part for me? Oh, me, we're on the other side going, yeah, we totally like are going to rock this shit. And we get here and we're like, wait, what's going on? Who am I? What is this? Right. What timeline did I fucking land on? So, personally, I've been watching this cycle. I'm going to watch it through the whole like gambit here. I think it's about a 2-year, 18-month to 2-year cycle. So I really want to keep an eye on this and watch how it's unfolding for the collective too, not only just for myself, but for everybody else. That cycle started in opposition, I believe, or in aspect with Pluto somehow. I wish I don't know. We talked about it on a different show. You have to be watching our shows to know.
Definitely the case. Yeah. I'll try to pull it up later. I don't want to pull up more than one thing at a time here, because I will definitely crash my StreamYard again. I'll pull up Janice and we'll be able to look at it that way and see what's going on.
Yeah. So anyway, we're still looking at like the Sagittarius Gemini axis, and it's about learning, about information, about like oh god, we get in Sagittarius and it's about like freedom to roam. I mean, have you ever met a Sagittarius that liked their back up against the wall?
I don't think so, no.
That you could ever corner? Because
I don't think they make those.
No, because if you corner one, they might get feral. You never know.
Right.
But that's the thing about Sag, though. Like I've got a few in my life, and one thing I noticed is like when it comes to like Sag Moon, like it can be really emotionally manipulative in order to just be right all the time. That's just my experience. Like what they think and what they know, that can be the way for them. Some. I'm not saying everybody, but Spin Doctor comes to mind when I think of Sagittarius. They want freedom of expression. They don't necessarily care about the deeper connections as much as they care about their own selves, their own ideas, and where they're going and what they're doing. It's kind of, I don't want to say selfish, but it's necessary in order to take the correct steps. Sagittarius is going to break a pattern. They're going to see the bigger picture and be like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Or, oh, this doesn't align with I saw as the future. They're really strategic when they're like seeking out the truth. There's a method, to the madness. So, wherever this is landing in your chart, it's like, that's how, it's affecting you, like Sagittarius, and this is like the 11th and 5th access houses for me. So it has a lot to do with like, my own creativity and my own expression and groups and reconnecting, with, my tribe, my people, and finding my people. So it's been really fun. That part's been pretty fun, actually. I've been finding, I love it because I'm at this age now where I'm actually finding people that are like, I can totally jam with. I don't care if you live across the country, like, if we can jam out online and we can talk online, like you just made, family, out of me. 'Cause I will totally like never leave you alone, especially, especially if we can sit and jam out about all the things that you're passionate about and love,
Yes.
So yeah, let's see what else. I don't know. I write notes so I don't get too far off track here.
While you're thinking, Lorna says, I think you're on track with that. This was in relation to Neptune and the artistic stuff. Having worked in a psych ward for elderly psych patients, I think Van Gogh is a good example of artist creating an environment just to paint. Society, present, past, has been creating worker bees with few breaking free, and then they are idolized actors, singers, athletes. I was surrounded by professional artists, so super critical of my own skills, so didn't allow it to develop. It can go the other way. Yes, very much so. This Sag, more concerned with quality than surface connection, but very good at small talk and genuine, authentic listening. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you've got Sag placements, right, Lorna? I haven't looked at your chart in a long time.
Man, I don't know. I know I do.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I don't know where some of my other stuff is.
My Neptune is in Sagittarius, so yeah. Yeah, so like both the sun and the moon, like the major aspects I saw, both the sun and the moon, they're trining the nodes. So like the sun is trining the north node, and the moon is trining the south node, and it's pretty harmonious, aspect. Trines are usually pretty good energy to work with. It's good, you can integrate the past into the future. It's perfect, I think, for a Sag full moon, seeing, this Sagittarius. I mean, most of them that I know are pretty optimistic, pretty funny. They're willing to joke about the dark stuff, and turn something that seems like it is just a shit show into a funny little joke. And then it's not so hard to like take on the problem or the issue or whatever. I love their approach to things. So Sag is, I don't know. I love Sag. There isn't a sign that I don't love. I found that when astrologers say, oh, this sign is the worst, or this sign, like I've run into people who are like, hey, did you know that there are tropical astrologers that say that the moon in Scorpio is like the worst thing you could have, that you're like,
really?
Yeah, like you're manipulative and you're an asshole. And like I had somebody tell me this and I was like, that is like, who comes up with this stuff? Why are you telling people things that don't heal them? That's like,
also that are demonstrably untrue.
Absolutely. Like Gemini is so two-faced. Like, no, they're taking in information. They're reading your body language. They're like, they've got this almost like psychic attunement, as if they are like, they say, oh, they're so disconnected from people. No,
that's crazy.
No, they're the most connected. They want to be connected. They're like plugged in. So like, yeah, I got off on a tangent there, guys. Coffee fueled tangent.
That was an important tangent, I believe.
It is important. Not that everything is all like, sunshine and rainbows and nobody has a shadow side to them. Like everybody has garbage shit they're dealing with, and they all have, I mean, myself included, things that, we're working on. But to turn around and just say, oh, like this sign is like this, and this sign is like, let's make memes about it, and we'll like, it still like influences a person's, self-esteem. Like if I read that shit about myself, I mean, I have, especially with like Capricorn moon, they tell like, oh my God, they say some of the most awful things about Capricorn moons. Like we're so disconnected and we have no feelings, and like, oh my, I have a lot of feelings actually. And never...
Yeah, Niki, you have like some of the most feelings, I think.
I hate it.
I know.
I hate it.
You feel a lot.
I do feel a lot. I don't understand it sometimes, and I hate it. I don't like it. But it's the way it is. It's just part of swimming in this. I don't know, whatever this is, life, Earth, and I'm just swimming in it, immersed. Yeah. I guess I was here for the full experience this time.
Hi, Catherine. Is it Deal? Is that Deal? Welcome.
Yes. Welcome. Hi.
Yeah, let us know where some of your stuff's at. We'll take a look at it for you, since you're new and you're here. Why not? Let's do it.
Yeah, Sag moon, like the truth hurts, right? I mean, Sagittarius can really lay it down. We're just out here just like, hey, guess what? That's not real. That's not true.
Yeah, speaking of, I'm not going to say any names, but you all know at least a handful of them. I mean, it's all tropical astrologers, but some of like the more popular ones out there. One of them came up in my feed the other day, and this gentleman is exceptionally well respected, and he was talking about Uranus in Gemini. And it, like, sometimes it just hits you like a wave of garbage air, like really smelly, hot, like by the dumpster, like summertime garbage. You're like, how can you look your thousands of viewers in the audience and tell them that Uranus is anywhere like near Gemini? Like, how can you do that? That's really
I too have had those.
I could understand if every single time he got on the call and was like, listen, tropical astrology is actually like it doesn't have anything to do with the constellations. It's just about like this element modality planetary rulership scheme that was created in basically after the Hellenistic period. And then go from there. But to literally like just tell people that a planet is somewhere it's not, that would be like me saying that like I'm speaking Spanish right now. It's definitely it's 100% Spanish. I mean, if you don't, you're not picking it up. Yeah, exactly. But it's just sometimes I get smacked with it, and I'm like, I really can't believe this happens, and it happens to so many people. Do it. It's just bizarre to me. Okay. Stellium and chat with Lorna. Mary Mystic says stellium and Cap, Moon, Venus, and Mars. This goat is an emotional adventurer. Yeah, you got a ton over there. I think it shows too, like the real version. If we were listening to the jerk version of Capricorn, then you'd be a monster of a human being.
Yeah,
which we know is definitely not the case.
Oh my gosh. It is not. It is not. And you look at like the Capricorn Cancer axis, and it's just like, how could you get that out of that? How could you get Capricorn being like this disconnected, cold, just
the Greek planetary rulers?
Yeah, because it's a Saturn thing. Everyone thinks Saturn's an asshole. They're like, oh, he's so mean and he restricts and he takes away. And it's like, well, what else would you want? You want Jupiter all the time? You want all of the everything?
I don't think he does all that though.
You're gonna kill yourself.
He doesn't do it. And I know we've talked about this every time. Like in ancient astrology, Saturn was Ninurta. He was awesome. He was so awesome. He didn't come with any of that restrictive stuff. And even that seems like it was layered over time.
Yeah.
Even in like the Greek and like the Hellenistic period, it wasn't, he didn't really become really negative. I would say even in the medieval period, it took on like a lot of those really dark satanic traits, that they associate with it, which is just kind of silly. Yeah. Catherine says, I'm a Virgo sun, Sag moon, and Cancer rising. Oh, so you apply to the Sag moon. Happy full moon.
Yeah.
Yes. Virgo sun. Okay. That's a very Cancer rising. That's a very strong setup over there in your chart. Where's your Mars? Do you know? Because that's a really intense Virgo sun, very strong, earthy, kind of boss energy. Cancer can be maybe some strong mediumship skills, like natural mediumship skills, but probably definitely with all that Virgo, Sag, and Cancer, probably a hyper analyzer.
Oh my God, are you a workaholic? Are you a workaholic? I'm just wondering. If you really like, I see, I'm supposed to be editing right now, but
yeah,
I do that.
Yes.
I'm supposed to be doing a lot of things right now, but I'm just gonna side quest.
Yes.
That's that Sag moon. Let's side quest.
Mystic Virgo says, I'm a Virgo sun, Aries moon, Scorpio rising. So tons of creative energy, probably too much that you don't know what to do with it half the time. And you probably start lots of things that you don't necessarily finish, but that's all right. You should definitely embrace that and run headfirst into it. Catherine says, I'm a teacher and writer. So relatively pain in the butt. You mean like you're a pain in the butt or something else is a pain in the butt? It could go either way, I think, from the placements.
I love that. Oh my God. Well, we were talking earlier before we hopped on the call. I have had like the worst attitude. Oh my God. Like yesterday, I had to do a vibe check because I'm at work and I work at like the best place ever. And there's no reason why you should ever have a bad attitude when you're there. But I couldn't shake it. Usually I can shake it out the door and I'm fine. But I had to live with that bad ass. I'm like, what is this? Personally, it's probably something in my chart. It was probably where the freaking moon was. Who knows? But it had me thinking like maybe this Mars South Node conjunction that, they're in orb. They're not really conjunct yet, but maybe it's bringing up a lot of stuff. It could be like, having a bit of a emotional purging effect. It could be bringing up things from the past that just,
I think you're right.
Like, you got to totally confront it. And, you got that node, so it's about like past karmic ties, past angers, letting go of the past. I mean, it could work out pretty well for you too. I'm not saying that this is for everybody, but it does bring up a lot of those past patterns. We have Venus in square, the last waning square with Mars. They're, wrapping up the last tension, piece of their cycle here. So there is a release of old karmic patterns, maybe like the way you approached relationships, you know, or even, you know, how you make money, you know, whatever you desire and go after. Maybe you have to change the way you're doing that, you know, and let go of the old ways and kind of embrace the new ones. And I feel like this full moon setup is really like, just, it's got good harmony. It's got good energy for that. It's got good energy to like recognize where the patterns are. Where am I like not aligning with, you know, my, you know, spiritual truths, and it's a good like recalibration. You know, good time to take a good hard look and be really truthful with yourself about what are you doing? Where are you going? Like maybe having the same reaction over and over again isn't like pushing you towards your, you know, North Node goals. Maybe it's keeping you stuck in the same like evil bullshit patterns that keep you down, keep you from reaching your goals, keep you stuck in the same place, you know, over and over again. So I don't know. I like this placement. I like everything about it. I feel like it's a good time to just wake up, snap out of it, and, you know, figure it out. Figure it out. Where you, you know, where do you need to make some changes? So,
Yeah,
I say that every time, but
it's true. It's definitely true. Yeah. I do think Sagittarius, the full moon in Sagittarius is gonna kick some of that the boss energy into hyperdrive, especially if you have strong Sagittarius placements, especially Catherine, somebody like you who has their moon in Sagittarius. You can take far more advantage than like the average person. But this is like, go after what you want, take action. This isn't a time necessarily to sit idly by and just kind of let things play out. Like if you were waiting for a time to make a decision or act, like this is definitely going to benefit you. Even people who don't have strong Sagittarius can take advantage of this too. So, but like Niki said, like that means making changes, you know, like maybe it's, you've been waiting on some stuff and like it's time, you know. So the next couple of days, I mean, technically what's today? So we're just entering, it's already like in Sagittarius. I think it's full, like right around here-ish. And then you're going to get most of it over the next 3 days. Yeah.
Yeah. And then boom, it'll connect with Pluto before you know it. I think the moon connects with Pluto tomorrow, I believe. So, I mean, it's still going to be an aspect to the sun. You're going to get that in conjunct, which can be, I think, a little bit more uncomfortable than an actual opposition. You know, because there's just if you're not confronting it, you know, it can be uncomfortable, I think. But you know, maybe you don't have any problems at all. Like maybe you're just one of those lucky people where everything's just great.
It's not luck. You got to stop. It's not luck. If somebody's if somebody's got all their shit going for them, okay, it's because they either worked really hard or they believe in themselves and they created like their awesome experience.
Oh yeah. It's not like these things, like nothing astrologically happens like that, you know. It's always a build up to it, you know. So it's never fluid. Like this is the cycle, you guys. Like I see those videos and they're so misleading, and trust me, I click on them too. So I'm like, is it? Let's see what you have to say. But no, it builds on each cycle builds on the next cycle. It builds on the next cycle. Like I've never started a new moon where I'm like, this is the goal, you guys. Really? I'm always like, no, never. I'm always like, well, what's going on in my life right now? What do I want to work on? What is this? And then usually it just happens every month. I do this every month. I'll either forget what it is I was like actually trying to focus on. Somehow I get lost and I'm like, oh, what the hell? What was I doing? You know, and then I'm like, by the time I hit the full moon, I'm like, well, what was it that I'm bringing to fruition here? Like, I don't know. I guess I've never been on the actual cycle. You know, I've been a little off. I
I want to say like
I spin sideways.
5 or 6 years ago, I switched to a lunar calendar. So I don't know. I can't really separate life at this point between like outside of those cycles. It does seem to flow very naturally. But what I will say, what I have noticed is I go into the full moon trying to create and then go to the new moon trying to create something new or like start something new, and then go into the full moon trying to like get rid of some stuff after that as it starts to wane. It doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes I end up like I try really hard for that first 2 weeks to get it going. And it doesn't actually start. Like the process doesn't start until the full moon. So it like took me the 2 weeks just to really, I'm like, like you said, oh, it's the new moon. I'm going to get my shit together this time,
Yeah.
But then like it takes me the whole 2 weeks to do it. And then I can actually start that process. So it's just like a seed germinating,
Yeah.
like you can't keep digging it up you got to wait till it sprouts and then you're like, okay, now it's going, now like,
yeah. Now I recognize what it is I'm working on. Like I like to collect things like emotions, and I put them on a shelf, and I'm like, all right, I'll work on this later. And then I'll work on this emotion later too, because I don't have time for that right now. I'm busy, avoiding that type of work. So the last, oh my God, 9 months has been nothing but working on that kind of gross, messy, emotional garbage,
Well, you're in a big transition. That's normal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I have good days and I have bad days, and you've been like my human journal. I don't want to actually write this shit down. I don't want anybody to know when I die what I really thought or anything. So I just tell you, and you're just,
I'll remember.
Okay.
I remember.
Yeah, I know you do, because you'll call me out. You will. And I love that though, because you'll be like, wow, Niki, like you'll bring up a challenge, and I'm like, well, that squashes that, like,
it's the Sagittarius
attitude.
It's definitely the Sagittarius.
Well, it keeps me from falling into a victimhood attitude. And like, I don't like that. I don't want to be a victim. I'm not a victim. I charged headfirst into everything I've ever thrown myself into, knowing damn well what I was getting into. So it's for me, it's a lot about taking accountability, knowing when I was wrong, knowing when to back off, knowing when to, choose a different path, choose a different route, just go a different way. I have to tell you guys a story though. I really do, because last week we were talking about Uranus and Venus getting together, okay, and connecting. And we were kind of bullshitting around about new relationships, new wild and crazy like relationships starting. So I actually had that happen. Not to me though. So one of my clients that I've given readings to, and he's also a customer. He came into the store, and he was like, "Hey, Niki, like." He's dropped hints on me. He's a little biker, he's like, maybe you want to come over and like hang out. I'm like, no, not really. And so anyway, he comes back and he's like, well, I know you know a lot of people, Niki. So can you keep like your eyes and ears open for me? Like, I'm looking for a lady who wants to ride on the back of my bike, go out to dinner, smoke a little, have a little fun. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, I meet a lot of people every day. Yeah, okay. He leaves. I literally walk into the back warehouse and I'm talking to my coworkers. I'm like, can you believe he trusts me to find him somebody? like I'm some kind of like, I don't know, like Cupid or something. I was like, that's really cool. And at the same time, like, who do I know? And my coworker goes, oh, my mom. My mom's actually looking for somebody who's like an old biker too. She's an old Southern biker too. Like, I'll tell her to call him. I was like, for real? She would? He's like, hell yeah, she'll call him right now. I was like, well, let me go get his number. So yeah, guess what? They hit it off. So 4th of July comes and they come in and they visit. This happened like the day before. So they come visit and they are just and they're in love with each other. They're just
That's
in love with each
awesome.
other. Yeah. So he leaves, or they visit, and you can tell there's like all that sexual tension, and they're just like gonna have like the best fucking time ever. I'm like, oh my God, this couldn't have worked out better. So they leave, and my coworker, he's like, yeah, I hope he's gonna be okay. And I'm like, really? Like, why? Why would you say that? Like, is your mom a serial killer or something? And he was like, no, she's just a nympho. She's a nympho. She just like wants to be with a man and just like sleep with them for like 3 days straight. She's like killed 5 guys already. And I'm like, shut up. I was like, wow, I've seen this guy's chart though, and I think he'll be okay. I think he can handle it. Well, they just came to visit me yesterday, and they adopted a kitten together. They're moving in together. I know all of this just happened a few days ago, and they're like soulmates or something. So I'll keep you guys posted on it, because if it falls apart, it will fall apart in the most dramatic way, which I hope it doesn't. I just hope it doesn't, because they have so much in common, and they really like each other. And he thanked me. He was like, oh my God, thank you for hooking me up with a nympho. And I was like, oh my God. You're welcome. I didn't know. So they're both very thankful to me. And I'm like, wow.
That's awesome.
It is very awesome. It is very awesome. He's encouraging me to get out there now. He's like, you should get yourself out there, Niki. Yeah, I'll think about it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll
think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catherine said, oh, she looked it up. My Mars is in Cancer. Okay, so Catherine, in classical terms, Cancer sucks, right? Like, that's bad. And so is Mars. That's bad. But I will tell you, in Mesopotamian terms, that's like the greatest placement. Okay. And I'll tell you why, because Cancer was the, actually, let me see. Well, it doesn't show up on there, but I will switch it. Cancer was the access point to the underworld. Now, underworld is a terrible translation. Clearly, the access point was in the sky. It was not like under the ground. It would probably be better like other world, or, like this other spiritual dimension, which is literally what it is. But let me grab this one right here. Mars was Nergal. He was the king of the underworld, the lord of the underworld. And so that's like him being right at home. Now, he was very emotional. He had an ego. He was hyper masculine. He was an unmatched warrior. He was super awesome. Okay. But he could be manipulated into doing some bad things sometimes. That definitely did happen. We're not imagining that. But when he went to the underworld the first time, he falls madly in love with the queen of the underworld. They have copious amounts of intercourse, and it's a whole big story that we talk about every single episode, it seems like, that we're on.
Yeah. Well, it's my favorite story, actually. Yeah. I love it. Oh my God, you guys, it is the best story ever. Like, if you hear Abby say it from the the whole thing, it's just like the coolest story.
Yeah, it is really awesome. So that's him like being stable. So one of the things that people don't realize is that Cancer is actually, now in classical, it's associated with water, probably Vedic too, because they just use like the classical associations. But so it's really emotional and like really, I don't know all the associations.
Sensitive, yeah.
Yeah, but it's actually much more about the mind. It's about the center, it's your subjective mind, where you're doing all of your processing of who you are, like all your past, your present, future, your plans. It's where you're dissecting everything. And so it becomes very cognitive. So when we take that very cognitive placement in Cancer and we put like the king of sensitivity into it, we have this very nice union of the mind and the emotions. It's a very powerful placement if you have a hold of your thoughts. Okay. But if your thoughts are running wild on you, you can be riddled with anxiety. It can cause like sometimes people get like panic attacks. You become like too sensitive. Your neurology is basically just keyed up all the time. And it can be a really bad situation. But so it goes both ways. It really depends on what you do with it. Meditation is obviously going to be maybe harder in the beginning, But it's absolutely worth doing. So one of the things they call the Babylonian star catalogs and like the Mulapin, they talk about Cancer being the seat of Anu, and that's a veiled reference to Anu, the supreme creator deity, like the masculine principle of that being like where you access him. That's where he's seated. That's where, you know, so like they're telling you in their own language, in their own way, that God is in your center. And in order to access that, you have to go within, you have to calm the mind, you have to triumph over your underworld in the same way Nergal did. And that's when all of the best things in life come to you. So it is a really strong placement. It can go terribly awry, but you know, any of them can. Any placement can be good or bad. At least in the Mesopotamian system. I know it doesn't work that way in like Western and Vedic, but I don't know anything about those, so can't help you with that.
I mean, I love that story because he confronts his fears, and it turns out to be like the best thing that ever happened to him. Like, you know, because he feared that he was chilling in the underworld with that woman, and he was like, you know, he goes and he leaves. He doesn't remember anything, and he's just scared to death to go back. I don't know if he really doesn't remember anything or is just playing games because
he was. Well, if you listen, so this is I'll just tell the story in case anybody cares. So basically, Nergal, this unmatched warrior, they're having a banquet in the heavens. All the gods are there. Well, Ereshkigal, the queen of the underworld, she can't go. So she sends her messenger, and while the messenger is entering, instead of standing up, because the messenger is a de facto stand-in for the goddess herself, Nergal, who's kind of a cocky prick, he just doesn't stand up, and he's basically insulting her. So the messenger goes back down. Tells her what happened. She's furious. She's like, bring him to me so I can kill him.
Yeah.
So the message, so the message.
Oh my God. Yeah. I have so much in common with this one. I'm just kidding.
The message, well, they're all aspects of ourselves. The messenger goes back up to, you know, the celestial realm and tells the other gods, they're like, where is this god who didn't stand? And they're looking around for him and they can't find him because he's so afraid. He has disguised himself as like some crippled old man. And, you know, so like they don't find him, but eventually they figure it out and they tell him, they're like, you have to go down here. She's going to unleash all of the demons, all of the spirits of the dead. They're going to devour the living. Like, you have to go. And he, in some of the versions of the story, he's actually weeping out of fear. Like, please, please, please don't tell me. So they're like, no, you have to go. So he goes, he gathers his courage. He goes down there, which is going into the underworld is terrifying in and of itself because you got to go through all these gates. And it's like, you know, it's a process. Just like doing shadow work in real life, you have to strip off the layers and like go deeper and deeper. And they know what they were doing when they wrote these stories, you guys. So anyways, he goes down there and he happens to see her. We don't know if he's like peeking through a door or something. And he sees her undressing for a bath. And he's like 100% on board right then. He's ready. He's like ready to stay. They embrace, they have nights and nights or days and days, we don't know, of intercourse. They're very explicit about it. The Mesopotamian literature is very graphic, you guys. If you get a chance, check it out. It's interesting. It's much it's not like your grandma's mythology, we'll put it that way. So finally, he's like, look, I can't stay here. I got to go. Probably, I suspect he just was afraid that he was going to get trapped there because nobody comes up from the underworld. Like, you go down, you're done. Like, that's the end. So she lets him go and she is devastated. Her heart's broken. She says that like she was a virgin and, you know, like she's totally in love with this guy. So she's like begging the other gods. They're like, you know, please send him back to us or send him back to me so he can be my husband and my king or whatever. So they tell him, they're like, look, you got to go back down there. She really wants you to go. Now, the problem is some of the script, the text is mutilated because it's written on clay tablets. And so we don't know exactly what the exchange was between particularly Enki and Nergal. The next thing we hear is Enki's telling him, I'll give you all the powers of heaven or something along those lines if you kill her. So here's another example of he's getting manipulated into doing something he doesn't want to do, but they're like appealing to his ego, appealing to his pride. So he's like, all right, I'm going to do it. So he gathers up all of his strength, all of it, his, machismo and whatnot. And he goes down there. Once he sees her sitting on the throne, ready to, like, he went down there to kill her, he's like getting ready to kill her. He sees her. They said he starts laughing. Okay. He takes her by the hair and, like, he puts his hand in his hair and he starts kissing her. And then again, Nergal and Ereshkigal laid together. They laid together for a first day, for the second day, so on and so forth. And they live happily ever after. So this is really, it becomes more telling of what's going on here, because we don't have tales of Nergal's exploits, his sexual exploits, outside of this one story. He literally reigns in the underworld like this proud, illustrious, radiant, reddish king, like he shines like a star, because obviously he's like the planet Mars too. And so some of the other gods, like we talked about early in the call, we were talking about Enki and how he was like banging all his granddaughters and stuff because he just couldn't keep it in his pants. And who else? Like a bunch of them are like that. So they were very promiscuous. The gods kind of just were doing it with whoever they wanted to. So for him to enjoy this very passionate, stable romance really speaks to his true nature. And it speaks to that part of ourselves too, like the deep fear, that we hide behind our external bravado and, just like this persona that we kind of show the world, but really it's just a big lie, because deep down we're just like scared little kids half the time. So, and again, like Niki said, it shows what happens when you face that fear. That's when, all of the treasures of the world. Now, the underworld probably sounds really lame, but if you learn more about the Mesopotamian underworld, there were all kinds of cool stuff, like all the secrets of the cosmos and all the like mysteries of the universe were there. So I forget what we were doing and why we started talking about that, but needless to say, Mars in the Mesopotamian system, in the Babylonian record, it's not quite, it can be good, it can be bad, just depending on like, sometimes it meant your enemies were going to defeat you, and sometimes it meant you were going to defeat your enemies, just depending. But I don't get into the Babylonian omens too much because they get kind of wonky, and
they get a little weird. Sometimes the Vedic stuff gets a little weird too. I'll read some stuff, and like even some of it's so fatalistic and old.
Yeah, some of it's real negative,
weird.
But the Mesopotamian Mars is it's great. It just depends on, again, what you want to do with it. So there's not anything. So like the Mesopotamian gods, the planets, they had their good things and their bad things. So did the signs, it just depended on what was going on and what you want to do with it. There's no, it's not like determining your fate for you. It's giving you the energy to work with, and then you get to decide what you want to do with it. I saw, who did I see? Ija Levy. Hi, haven't seen you in a couple weeks. Hope all is well. Ija Levy. I am familiar with Mars in Cancer, last degree or two per unequal sign. So that's where you're saying your Mars is in Cancer, like closer to Leo. That's a really intense placement. That's more him being more on the brash, masculine side. Still not bad, but this is more him like showing off some of his radiance and definitely being more on like the passionate side of things. Now, if it's only a few degrees in there, you're probably going to get more of the Cancer energy. I would say it's probably like a mix. Catherine says, well, that explains why I'm obsessed with writing romance novels. The story is fascinating, as is most of Mesopotamian astrology. It's so interesting, you guys. Like, it's so great.
It is. Is there like a Mesopotamian mythology like book? Is there a website? I mean, is there anything you would recommend?
It depends on how deep you want to go into it. Yeah, there's a lot of them out there, like all kinds of them, but they're not comprehensive because there's so much. If you go to the electronic corpus of Sumerian literature, you will get a detailed, like all of it. But the problem is it's literally like there's text missing because it's missing in the tablets, and you can see the transliterated Sumerian version. But that's probably the best place to go. But yeah, there's tons of books out there that have it. Now, you will run up with different scholars, okay, like to translate things in their own special way, and they have some license to do so because some words have multiple meanings. So they take a little bit of license, and a lot of scholars and academics in general will kind of strip things down and make it just kind of cold and colorless. So take that into consideration. But Benjamin Foster, he has a book or a compilation, anyways, of translations. It's called Distant Days, and you can get it either you can get it on Amazon, or they have it in the archive. What's that called? The Internet Archive for free. But it's great. He has great translations, and I don't think that he does make them really cold and awful. So.
Yeah, I noticed that with a lot of scholars, like a lot of people who have degrees or teach in, academic settings, they always tend to lean towards what it is they were taught. There's not a lot of original thinking going on there. It's just kind of like, oh, this is what they say, this is what so this is what it is, and they kind of apply a little bias to it. I love how you've approached it in a way that's like, what does it really mean, and how can it be applied, and look at the actual meanings of what these words are. It's got to be difficult to go through. And how did you begin doing that? How did you begin even just like deciding, I'm going to learn this language so that I can decode these coniforms and figure this out? Like there's got to be a story behind it. You were probably like pissed off, like, this is just, why doesn't this make sense? And like, how did this happen? I'm just curious.
This sounds really sketchy, but you asked, so I'll tell you. But I actually used to dream in Sumerian and would write it before I knew what it was. Like when I was little, I would be and I didn't know what was going on. So I reached this point where I had to decide if I wanted to go all in on Sanskrit for obvious reasons or Sumerian. And I tried doing both at the same time, like throughout my life, and I just couldn't get into Sanskrit. I don't know what it was. I just didn't feel it. I didn't resonate with it. But everything about Sumerian, it came so naturally to me, and it was just like it was like remembering something from before. Like it would just fit so easily. So then what happens is, if you can read and speak Sumerian, which you guys, my book, I'm hoping like I hope by the end of the year, it's like completely like published and everything. But anyways, if you can read it, it becomes so obvious that they're stripping out the life and the soul of what they're talking about. And a great example is the underworld. So the original name of the underworld was Kur, which means mountain or foreign land. And there's nothing in there that indicates going beneath the ground. But because like the early 20th century scholars who were really getting a hold of this, they were coming from like a Western Greek mindset where like, oh, dead people, like they thought that Hades, either Elysium or whatever, was underground. And there's maybe some other cultures. And so they basically they put it through this Greek filter or like a Western filter where hell or the underworld or just not heaven must be somewhere under the ground, even though there's absolutely no evidence that they ever thought that. Not even in the Akkadian version, which is basically like a literal translation would be a lower earth, but that's not necessarily an under earth. But again, that's the Akkadian version, which is coming like thousands of years later. So I don't know, like it's fascinating to me, I think too, because there's so much more room for discovery. A lot of there's over last check, you guys, there's over 500,000 clay tablets in cuneiform in Sumerian that have not been translated yet. And a lot of them are available on the internet, and they just plaster them out there. They're like, hey, if anybody can translate this, can you send it to us? Like we have so many, we really need. So there's like all this room. These discoveries are being made all the time. All these things that they thought were settled, archaeological, or at least Sumerological science it's not. So there's like a lot of reasons for it, but I have like a deep spiritual connection to Mesopotamia and like the deities and stuff, like in the myths and obviously the astrology and just the everything. So it was just really natural. Catherine says, you translate Sumerian. Yes, I can read and speak it and translate it, and I'm hoping that I have half of the lessons posted already on my website for other people, but I'm hoping that the book makes it a little bit more accessible, because there's a lot of exercises in there, and it It builds very naturally from one lesson to the next. I'm hoping more people are going to start learning Sumerian. One of my goals is to really try to, there's no way we could make it mainstream, but at the very least, we want to give like the academics a run for their money and just let them know, like, you guys can't just do this stuff in isolation anymore and think nobody's going to call you on it. Like, it's very obvious what's going on. And there's so many more examples. We're going to publish them. I have a bunch of papers lined up that are going to be coming out in the Sidereal Rising. We have an academic journal with the International Sidereal Astrology Association. Go to the website, siderealinternational.com or .org or .net. All of them will take you to the same place. While you're there, be sure to register for our upcoming Sidereal Astrology Conference. It's a Zoom conference. It's free this year only. And you're definitely going to want to come to that. It's September 27th, I believe. And then also, obviously, we got a newsletter. We got a blog going. You guys definitely get involved with the International Sidereal Astrology Association. Like, it's the world's first and only association, like astrological association for sidereal astrology. So, and we have Western, Mesopotamian, and Vedic astrologers on board. So it's not like it's one tradition or the other. Our only thing is we're sidereal only. So it literally has to, be where it says it is in the sky.
All forms of sidereal. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, we are looking for people to work with us too. So if you're interested in
volunteers,
volunteering and just seeing what we're all about, you can always send me an email. You can send Abby an email.
Yep. All our contact information's in the video description. The registration link for the event is also in the video description.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Lenore says, Abby, I bought White's Babylonian Star Lore and Daly's Myths from Mesopotamia from recommendations on your website, and I love them. Thank you for your effort and your work. Yes, both of those are great. I absolutely love Babylonian Star Lore. I think that should be on a must-have for every single astrologer on planet Earth. I don't care what tradition that you use. Now, it's not an astrology book. It talks about the myths associated with the stars. So it's not going to tell you how to do astrology, but I mean, you can pretty much figure it out. So in Mesopotamia, if I'm just being honest here, we're coming from, you look from the transition, if it really happened this way, which there's evidence that civilized, so to speak, society goes far past, the end of the last ice age. But let's just assume that agrarian society doesn't really start until 7000 BC, something along those lines. We would have come from basically shamanic traditions. Like, spirituality would have been just like any other hunter-gatherer society. You would have had like your tribal shamans and your diviners and stuff. We had that as soon as we start to get specializations in Mesopotamia. We very quickly have priests and priestesses, both of them equally. In many cases, the priestesses were more, they did more with the star divination and the what would we call that? Astrotheology, if we want to look at it that way. But they're basically they would have initially been using their same shamanic techniques, through like basically using their intuition, natural psychic ability in conjunction with some of this earlier proto astrology. So I personally don't think, and I think Niki would agree with me, I don't think anybody has the right to confer astrological worthiness on another person. Like, these things, you have access to all of these things. You can look up at the sky and you can divine the information. Like, you are the shaman, you are the priest or the priestess or the whatever. You have every right to be able to look at these things and to determine a meaning and glean a meaning from there. Whether you want to use, something from South America, you want to use it from like China. I almost said Kitai because my Russian and English keep getting switched up. But but like whatever you want to use, this is for you, So don't feel like somebody has to certify you to like give you the authority
absolutely.
to be able to do this.
Or give you permission. You are living your chart, whether you like it or not. So I've met a lot of people that are already living it. And they're trying to understand it and they're studying it. And you should definitely be looking at your own chart. Get a reading, absolutely. But continue to keep studying your chart. Continue to keep looking at all of the different processes and transits that are happening to you. What I love about like the ancients is that they literally created the sky to be like the same as the land they were living on. You've got rivers and fish and oceans. You've got, islands. They looked at everything up in the sky. And that's why we have this as above, so below. I mean, their whole world was up there, even the underworld.
Yep.
If you listen and you read the books or, whatever, that's what they were doing. I get that with the Greek mentality. They got weird. The Greek stories got real weird. They got like fever dreamish weird. Like that's why I liked them when I was a kid, because like you thought they were gonna zig and then they zagged, and you're like, wow, who comes up with this?
I really liked them too. When we got into that, like in high school, they make you go, at least we had to go deep into Greek mythology, which was great. It was a nice change from the other goofy stuff we had to do.
Yeah.
But I remember my mom saying, she's like, I never liked Greek mythology. It just seemed really cartoony. Like it didn't seem real. Like it didn't have a realistic feel to it, And some of that is because some of the wacky stuff they do is so outside of the range of like normal human behavior. So and it like doesn't flow. It really is like a fever dream, like trying to follow a sequence of events from your dream where you're like, I went to my brother's house, but it wasn't my brother. And then we ate Doritos and fish, but like it tasted more like ice cream, like just something really goofy that doesn't make any sense. You're like, what are you talking about right now?
Yeah.
Like a story that your child will come and tell you about. Like, okay, sure. So I don't know. I don't think anybody really knows where the Greek myths came from. There's not like a clear origin. Some of them clearly come from Mesopotamia, some of them Egyptian, but they're not like, they don't seem like their own, cultural heritage. Is weird. I don't know.
Yeah. Like the Gemini myth, the Greek myth around Castor and Pollux is really weird.
Do you want to tell us about it?
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, I'll totally tell you about it because it's weird. So Zeus like is talking to, Mercury. And he's like, dude, there's this hot chick. Like, she's so fucking hot. I got to nail her and you got to help me out, bro. And he was like, yeah, I'll totally, like, we'll create this little situation where it'll trick her and then she'll just totally fall in love with me. So he like, Mercury pretends to be something scary and Zeus is like a swan, like the most beautiful swan you've ever seen in your life. And it's
smoking hot swan.
Smoking hot swan. Somehow ends up in her arms and she like makes love to this swan. Okay. I don't know how it happens.
Exactly. That's something that you would dream about and you'd wake up and be like, what did I eat before I went to sleep last night?
Right. Exactly. So she like has this experience with him and then goes home to her king husband and has sex with him too and ends up getting pregnant and like lays eggs. She has like 2 eggs that she lays actually. And you only really hear about Castor and Pollux. The one is a human, the other one is a god, but she had another egg that was, I think it was Helen of Troy. And then her sister, which nobody talks about because she had a really terrible story. So like, the Castor and Pollux story, they, run off and grow up and they're just like the best friends and they, go on adventures and they're sailors and they steal shit, eventually one of them, is killed, the mortal one. And, I think Castor is the immortal one. Anyway, they're like, hey, we got to work this out. Like eventually, Zeus puts him up in the sky because that's what he does with everything that he doesn't.
And he forgot to give him pants apparently, because that's all I'm going to.
Oh, nice. Well, They were wild.
Okay.
They were a little bit on the wild side. Gemini, that's where the Adventure Association comes from, like the good times.
I didn't know they had
laughing. One. Yeah. There's like all these Greek associations with it. But what I find odd about the story is that the other 2 twins just kind of, the females just get thrown off to the side. Nobody gives a shit about them. Like Helen of Troy, she was like so beautiful. She got wrapped up in the whole like, Trojan War, whatever that was. I It's been a while since I read it. And then her sister was actually married to a really abusive man, and she murdered him and then ended up going to prison for like ever. So it just gets weirder and weirder.
I'm not an expert on Greek mythology, but they do seem to really objectify females.
Yeah,
like they don't have a ton of sovereignty other than a few goddesses. They're very powerful.
I really hate what they've done to Hera. They're like, she's just jealous and she's just mad, and that's all she does is just think of ways to be mad and jealous.
Yeah, but
and evil.
her husband
like,
was like a super hoe. Like he was the king of the hoes. So
I know.
She seems kind of justified. I don't know.
Absolutely. That's why I don't know. Like there's a story about her who she decides that she's had enough of his shit. And she's like, fuck this guy. I'm going to tie him up somehow. She gets him all tied up and trapped. And she's like, I'm going to take over now. I'm going to rule now. And then he ends up like somebody feels sorry for him. So they cut him down or cut him loose. And then he ends up just like being an asshole about it because he can do no wrong. You know, that's kind of a fun little negative Jupiter function.
Who does that sound like? Who does the thunder god that can do no wrong sound like? I wonder. If this is your first time, you don't know that it's Marduk. Okay, Marduk was the Babylonian supreme god who basically took on all of the awesome traits of every god ever in Babylon. And that's why when the Jews were exiled to Babylon, they basically got this idea of an omnipotent God who was just like the greatest and did all of the things. And that's when they became monotheists. They got rid of all their other deities. So like the Israelites were not monotheists. They had a whole pantheon of gods. Among them, two that were El and his son Yahweh. And over time, those two merged into the same God, even though clearly they're very early on. If you read like the biblical texts and stuff, they're very distinctly two different people. And then they just basically end up being like Marduk. So eventually they went from being individual gods or storm gods or having like their own special traits to just being the catch-all wonderful God that can, has created all things and, whatever. So, it all goes back to Mesopotamia sooner or later.
Yeah. Okay? Yeah. The stories all spiral back to it. They really do. The one thing that got me though was how Marduk slays Tiamat. And then all of a sudden he's the man. He's the guy who created everything. He's the god of it all. And it's just kind of a weird little story in my opinion.
Definitely you can see. So anybody who's written a story before from like 6th grade on, you can clearly see that they pigeonholed this character. They had like a plot device, they just shoved him in here because they needed the story to end up a certain way with him being the greatest god ever. And so they completely demonized Tiamat, who is the divine, like feminine principle, the creator goddess with her consort, the Abzu. She, in the beginning of the story, she's like telling her husband, like, please don't hurt our children. She's basically saying like, these are my babies. I love them. And then in the next minute, she's like, I'm going to go on a rampage and kill all of my offspring. This makes no sense. It comes out of left field. And it's literally because they're trying to make Marduk into the greatest god ever.
Yeah, I totally feel that.
Yeah, it's really kind of ridiculous.
So there's a lot of deception that actually lives within Jupiter, I think. I think that's where we can see a lot of deception.
In Jupiter?
Yeah, because Jupiter in traditional astrology is a malefic. He can do no wrong. He's just the benefit, or not malefic. He's the benefit. He
does everything good.
Yeah, he does everything great. He's always abundance and expansion, and as if he can't ever be greed or control or
there can definitely
manipulation.
Yeah.
I mean, each planet has a shadow side. It's not that one is better than the other at all. Right. We see that with Mars because, sometimes, Mars can go off and do bad things when sometimes he can do good things too. So, but yeah,
Yep.
that brings me back to the whole I really think that misbeliefs, misalignments, and misinformation and being misled is definitely a Jupiter Mercury function. And when you look at the stories, you kind of see that. I just don't think we can blame everything on Neptune. I'm just saying. I think
so
Neptune
either.
is definitely can put you in a spacey world, you know, where you can believe things are real and then you find out they're not. But nothing like is more everyday than your Jupiter Mercury interaction. So, I mean, that's just kind of what I'm seeing with it. Can I expand on it right now? Probably not. But I would love to talk more about it, you know, because I really do. I just don't think that every single planet you can pin it as just like benefic and malefic. I think each one has a light and dark side to it. Like, you know, you've met people. I've met people. We've looked at their charts, and like I've met people who are completely manipulative. They're just the biggest jerks you've ever met in your life. And you look at their chart and it's like, you know, you expect to see negativity. You expect to see this, like, you know, evil or whatever. But there's a lot of positive potentialities in there. It's just how you use the energy. It's how you use it. Some people will be perpetual liars their whole life. They will always want to deceive, and they will always be deceived. And we see it, you know, and I haven't had the pleasure to study as many charts as I would like and pertaining to that, but like, it's not like you can point out historical. Well, I guess you can. Like nowadays, it's pretty easy to find historical figures who are liars or manipulators. Or
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can see it in a chart, though. If I'm
no,
because again, that comes down to the individual has the potential to do one thing or the other, and which direction are they going to go with it?
Yes. We become the guy behind the wheel steering the energy. Like I can decide if I want to be bad. I can decide if I want to be good. You know, I can decide to write it down the middle and try to see everybody's point of view and perspectives instead of like veering off into no man's land. Or you know, it's we got a really crazy, you know, society right now, where the energy is really high and everybody wants to know, what is the truth? Where are we going? What is it? And it's just starting, you know, all of these questions and all of this stuff we're going, it's just beginning. We haven't even really reached in a peak of it yet. When we look at these energies, I mean, we've got Neptune and Saturn starting, you know, their conjunction, which I think it's conjunct. You know, I see it, I look at it. It's definitely conjunct. You know, if you want to get perfectionist about it, and you definitely,
it's perfectly. What are they talking about? Who's saying it's
it's not? It doesn't actually perfectly conjoin until like 2026.
Stop it!
I've heard. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Okay, let's see if I can spell Neptune. That's not.
I know you're so upset. You're like, I can't even spell it.
Okay, hold on.
How is this?
But so Neptune and Saturn, is that what they said?
Yeah.
How much more conjunct can you get? Like, I don't understand. What are they talking about?
I don't know.
What does this look like? Does this look like a conjunction?
That looks
They're
like a
on top of each other, and they have been. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, like that's it. That you don't get more conjunct than that, other than like it's literally like 1 second away or something. That's crazy to me. I don't know what these people are on. I don't know.
I feel like it's conjunct because, man, I have not been able to. I don't know. I've gone through it. Like anytime I try to create something, make something, or think I'm doing it, it's like almost like I feel like I get something set and then it turns into like, I don't know, like I don't even know how to explain it. Like you're trying to make a mud ball and then it just turns into sand and it falls through your hands. Like,
and you think it's Neptune and Saturn doing that?
I don't really know. I don't really know if that's the, you know, what it is I'm experiencing.
Well, what is it doing in your chart though? That's what I would have to say. What is Saturn and Neptune doing in your chart?
Well, what do you mean? Like right
'Cause
now? Like
we-
what house
okay, so-
they're chilling in? Because they're
Well,
chilling in my
do
8th
they have
house.
something aspected to it? I don't think that that's necessarily, well, I don't know that that's going to do it either. So here's the thing. If Neptune Saturn conjunction's making your mud balls turning into sand,
Right? Well, no, it's just effing up my reality. Like it's really like not.
but that would,
freaking
but this is
stuff
a
is just-
global, this is a global experience right now, and that's not clearly happening to everybody. So like, I think that's too specific to say that we could blame it on this, unless depending on what's going in your chart. And again, I can't bring it up because I'll crash my stuff.
No, don't.
In which case, you know, maybe because you have a lot going on in Pisces, so you probably have some conjunction here. You probably do have it. It's right. It's happening right on top of like your natal Sun or Venus, isn't it? So I can see that.
No, it's not, but it's in the 8th house, and it's you know, the last time I had Saturn going through Pisces, it was like the worst time in my life. Actually, it was probably some of the worst
if I
years
disappear,
I've ever experienced.
If I disappear, I'll be back. So, but now I have to look because I think there's something going on here. Continue.
No, I mean, yeah, there's nothing going on in my chart, actually. Actually, yeah, there is. They're squaring my Saturn and Neptune are squaring my lunar nodes. So that's what it is. But yeah, but now I forgot what I was saying. See?
I know. I
forgot what I was talking about.
Natal, where are we? Neptune, Saturn. I mean, so Niki, it looks, hold on, let me pull out your points. I don't have them up here. In depth.
It's just changing the way I deal with, you know, groups of people and how I interact with people. It's changing how I the people that come into my life. It's been very like karmic feeling. I'm meeting a lot of different people, and I'm like, oh, I feel like I know you. Like it just lots of them, just weird. But I was thinking about it last night, and I'm having a lot of the same kind of emotions and feelings I had when Saturn was rolling through Pisces last time, which is strange because, you know, I'm finding myself in the same kind of position, you know, like, but even though I was a kid then, it's just, it's relatable. I have these in
your 9th house.
Oh yeah, I follow the sign as the house system, so I don't do the 30 degree.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
But okay. Well, I would consider, so like again, this is me. I know I'm different than everybody else. To me, 23 degrees of Pisces, and this is by the 30-degree system. I don't know how you do it the other way. Like it makes absolutely no sense to me. But your sun's only about, I mean, like less than 10 degrees. Oh, that's not true. No, like 15 degrees away. It's within the same house. Your sun being here, any type of Pisces interaction that you're having, like this would definitely make me suspicious of that.
Yeah.
If there is some sort of issue.
Yeah, there's just been strangeness all around. Just strange, weird things all around. I mean, you can't really put a finger on it. Can't really explain it. It's like weird spiritual stuff, you know, weird karmic stuff, like just weird shit, you know, and I'm just trying to live over here. Just trying to like be in my lane, be normal, find some normalcy, and just keep getting introduced to unnormal, not normal, weird, just wackadoodle things. And I'm like, okay, this defies logic. But at least I, you know, have somebody to talk to about it. At least I can come on the show and be like, hey guys, are you having things happen to you that defy logic?
You know what? I had something weird happen last night. It's probably not really that weird. Of the weird stuff that's happened to me, it's like doesn't even register. But something interesting, I thought it was strange. I have this meditation song, or it's not like, I guess it's meditation music that I listen to when I go to sleep. Well, like I lay down a couple hours before and I do a meditation before I go to sleep. And this is one of the ones that I use and I absolutely love it. It's not there anymore. Okay. But it's not there in a way, like it's been there for years. And then all of a sudden it's not there, but it's the only one that's not there. And normally if somebody pulls a video down, like the thumbnail and everything will show up, but then when you go to click on it, it'll be gone and it'll be like, oh, this isn't, this video is no longer available. It's not even that. It's like it never existed and it's just not there anymore. So I don't know if I like jumped some timelines or what's going on, but I know goofy stuff like that happens sometimes too, especially when you're in like manifestation mode. So who knows? Maybe it was weird and it kind of bummed me out because it was one of my favorites, but I guess I was done with it. Guess I had to move on to something else. I listened to some solfeggio frequencies. It goes through like all 9 of them and it's like an hour or so long. That one's really good too.
Yeah, I have not. Oh my God, I haven't meditated. I haven't. But what I've been doing is like reconnecting with the part of myself that used to actually like to do things. That used to actually like to have fun. Like last night I was like, oh, I'm going to pick a movie. Cause I never got to pick the movies at home. I'm like, what do I even like to watch? Well, I'm like everybody else. I just kind of flipped through it and like, I don't want to watch it. Like, I ended up not watching anything at all. But but the goal was, to just pick a movie. Yeah, to try to go have fun. Like I'm thinking about going mini golfing,
Oh, that's cool.
I love mini golf. I don't care if I go by myself. Like good. Like I'll beat my own best score. Like just kind of.
You gotta do.
Yeah, I'm trying to like. Oh my God. Yeah, just get reconnected with who like Niki is. What is Niki like? It's been about everybody else for so long. And I have been in my own world. I've been, selfish and taking time for myself and healing. But
you mean selfish in a good way, right? Because that sounded bad.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it does. I feel like it's bad because I've always been like a giver, and I just, it's hard for me to not have somebody to take care of. It's hard for me to not have somebody to focus my energy on. And now that it's me, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, well, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? Turns into like this crazy bipolar thing where it's like, I don't know what you like. Well, I don't know what I like either. Like, what
does your chart say you like? I got it up. Let me look.
Well, I like, oh my God. Okay. What I really love is I love like looking at different religions and governments. I love talking about that kind of stuff. I love talking about like the human condition and how we're, evolving and what we're doing. I like, oh my God, I like reading a lot. I'm super exciting. I'm just a super exciting person.
Hey,
I just literally like to read.
Listen, remember last week when I said that Uranus talks about what you're passionate about? Your Uranus is on top of Jupiter. And they're right smack in the middle of Scorpio. So you're going to get all of that underworld stuff. You're going to be passionate about the underworld stuff, the healing stuff, the occult powers, the magic, also it's going to be real close to, if not right on top of Antares. Like making a difference in the world. Like that Jupiter is really going to be about like that personal power and like actually trying to make changes and like listening to other people, talking to other people. I'm telling you guys out there, don't take my word for it. Go out and test it out. Uranus very much speaks to your passion and like the things that you're really interested in. And it's really easy to demonstrate if you go through and you look at like some of the world's like most successful people and whatever it was, whether it was art or science or whatever, you'll see that their Uranus demonstrates that almost exactly. So
yeah, no, you're totally right on with that. Like I love just connecting with other people that are into the same kind of thing that I'm into, which is all of it. Like I as long as you're not like racist or sexist or creepy or like weird about it or like hate a certain like people, religion. Like I'm pretty much an open book. I want to know, like I want to see what it is you like and why you like it. And I want to understand like the psychology behind it. I like the whole idea that, we are souls. We do come here. We are trying to figure it out and remember like who we are. And ever since I was a little kid, I've been trying to break through that veil, that memory, that block they put on you to block out who you really are. Like, what is your soul really? because you're here to experience that. Like I personally don't love the amnesia and the high doses of amnesia where that they give you because you're just this close to just cracking the case, and then boom, all of a sudden you're dosed again, and you forget all about everything, and you're in la la land. Like that's just how my brain works. And then I just feel like I've been struggling to just break through that barrier my whole life. To find out what is the truth, what is the cosmic truth, what did we really like plan on doing here? Because there's a mission. Obviously, we're all on a mission. We're all doing things, and they're personal. But mine has a lot to do with the collective too. So I want to, figure that shit out. And the more I interact with people and the more I talk to people, the more I get involved in groups and visit the occult, magic, sex stuff, and then talk to people about it and get their understanding. The more I understand where I belong in this big fucking picture, in this world that, we've been thrown into. Because there's days where I'm like, I'm not meant for this. I'm like that fucking Mr. Meeseeks, on Rick and Morty. That's like, oh no, I've lived too long. I'm not supposed to live this long. I'm supposed to leave already. I kind of feel that way, but there's a bigger mission, I guess. And everybody's trying to figure out their lives. Everybody's trying to figure out where they fit into this bigger picture. And I'm no stranger to that. So that's why I do astrology too, because it gives you the answers. Like, oh, hey, like these are just little pieces, little bits and pieces, and put it together.
Is your ascendant in Cancer or Leo?
It's in Leo.
How far?
Like 5 degrees.
Really?
Like 5 degrees into Leo. Yeah, 5 or 6 or so. Because it was near one of the cycles that we had.
Is it? So it's like on Regulus then?
Mm-mm.
Or is it? Where is it at then?
Just in the beginning of Leo.
So it's in the head of the lion within like the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Why is that interesting?
Well, for one thing, Janice in the 30-degree Fagan Bradley has you 25 degrees Cancer, which then itself is interesting. But I would trust the constellational layout obviously first. If I recall, looking at your chart, it is in Leo, but it's like right.
It's kind of
like
cuspy.
You're still in that. You still get a lot of the Cancer that close to Leo, but I bring it up because it is very like that goes back to what we were talking before with, who was it, Catherine? Her having that Mars in Cancer, and like that is the seat of Anu. That's where all the answers are. So if you can get your brain to quiet down a little bit, sometimes, Niki, love.
Yeah, no, it's never quiet, you guys. I'm always like this, and I'm like, I'll calm down, and then a new wave of
lots of emotion too.
Well, and it gets exciting. That's the thing. I get all excited, and then eventually it turns into like this big ball of anxiety because it's like the excitement just takes a crazy turn sometimes. But
and your Mars and Mercury are conjunct, like perfectly conjunct. That's rough. That's
it
really
is.
intense.
I don't recommend that, you guys.
No.
So like if you can remember when you're setting your shit up before you come here, don't do that. Don't do that.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah, don't do that. That's a bad and Aries too. So yeah.
Don't.
Oh
yeah.
I don't know. I've had a lot of thoughts, and and you've heard them. You've heard them all week where I'm like, why the fuck would I do this? Why would I come here? Why would I decide?
It's going to make sense later. Listen.
It always does, though.
Later.
It always does. And I'm not the only one having this experience. So it makes me feel good to like other people come to me and they're like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
and you know what? If you had
bond over it.
Yeah. Like if you weren't experiencing it, you wouldn't be able to relate as much. Lorna says, Niki, not astrology, but personal development workbook, artist's way to okay, try again, words. Workbook artists' way tools include artists' dates with yourself to find out what you like. Okay, I had a really hard time. We're gonna have to read that one, Nikki. But something about a workbook and figuring your shit out.
Yeah, that was recommended to me too. One of our friends, Marcy, had recommended it to me. I think somebody had sent it to me, just to develop your own artistic skills, and it was one of those workbooks. But yeah, I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's cool, but then I didn't jump on it or anything. I have a lot of books and I have a lot of commitments and I have a lot of things I'm doing right now, and I even lost track of the cycles I'm trying to keep track of, like my own, I know, like my own stuff. I'm like, I didn't write it down. So now I'm like 2 weeks away from whatever it was I was keeping track of, like the moon, my new moon, my personal new moon. Like that's what I was trying to keep track of. And I just.
Like your lunar return?
Yeah. No. Well, yeah. What am I thinking? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I found out too. I wasn't even using my my programming right when it came to solar returns. So I'm like, what the hell? What do you mean? Like I wasn't using it right. Sometimes I'm pulling solar returns that look just like somebody else's, and then I pull a solar return and I'm like, that's not right. I'm like, what is it?
That's a normal thing that happens. That's why, like, you got to be real careful. Once you got your settings where you want them, just don't touch them, because you can go in and just completely jack it all up. So
yeah, well, I was looking at my last year because I was like, I looked at my solar return at like Pluto on my 7th house, like descendant, and I like, dude, everything happened to fall apart just exactly the way you look it up and you read it, and that's what happened. But then I found out I'm pulling these charts wrong, and it was somewhere else. I don't remember where it was actually, and I'm like, okay, I guess I was.
Maybe you were. Yeah,
do we manifest this stuff if we see it?
It might have only been. It might have only been one chart that you messed up. So it does happen sometimes. Lorna says, love it. I don't recommend setting it up like that. I used to joke I signed up for advanced courses in forgiveness.
Yeah. Advanced course in forgiveness. I'm paying a lot of debts and I'm cashing in a lot of karmic coins. So whatever I got going on is pretty annoying and pissing me off, but whatever, I guess. It happens. We're all supposed to, we all go through it at different times, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way, written to help herself with writer's block, morning pages, brain artist dates, fundamental tools to make your transitions. Okay.
That was it. And you know what? It was, the writing stuff. Yes. I don't know what to blame, but I haven't been able to gather a thought and put it on paper or type it out and have it be coherent.
Yeah, I would look to Neptune for that. That would be a Neptune. I would see what was going on, what you have aspecting Neptune.
Well, now that it's gone retrograde, Neptune has, and we're going to have Saturn going retrograde pretty soon too. I've been actually feeling better.
Oh, okay.
I've been feeling better. I've been able to collect my thoughts, collect things and write them down. But for a while there, I'm writing stuff, and I would send Abby messages. I'm like, I wrote this thing and I just think it's absolute dog shit. I just hate it. I'm not going to do anything with this thing. And she's like, fine, whatever, man. It's not that big of a deal. You can just not write it then.
Right.
Like, you're right. Okay. You're right. Actually,
that's an option.
I love that because I get in this, I don't know, I have a Saturn complex where if I get on something, I'm obsessed with it and I'm going to finish it and I'm going to dominate it and I'm going to get it done.
It's the Uranus and Scorpio. I'm telling you.
You think so?
Oh, yep. There they go. Yeah, I do. It's the passion.
Really?
Yes. Scorpio does have, it can also be a boss, It is.
Yeah. I don't know. I've just, I've been having fun with astrology and exploring how it affects me and how, each sign is working in my chart. Like when I talk to people about their charts, I'm like, you are everything you see here. Okay. You're not just where your sun is or where the planets are.
Oh, right. Yeah, absolutely.
Like all of this is you, and all of it represents areas of your life, and how you interact with those areas. So, I mean, it's been fun for me because I'm like, okay, you know, if I have Cancer, like I see Cancer as a 12th house placement for me. And when I had Mars going through Cancer, like I was just scared. I don't know. Like, I don't know what happened there. I really don't. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like energy. And when he went retrograde in Cancer, you guys, like I got crazier. Like the paranoia got cranked up. I was just like out there. And
I had a great time.
And you had a fabulous time. You had a fabulous time. You had a great
amazing
time. But it helped kick off more of those, like, you know, maybe I need to look at the 12th house a little bit more. Maybe I need to look at what this means a little bit more, not only for myself, but, you know, for other people. And so I've just been studying like what that means, the 12th house, Pisces, you know, all of that. So it's been you can take what's happening to you and learn from it is what I'm trying to say.
Definitely.
You know, and try to understand it a little bit better and figure it out. Is it really just a 12th house placement, or is it something else going on in the chart? You know, is it this transit or is it something else? It's fun. It's mysterious. It's like,
yeah, it's fun to discover things.
Yeah. What's affecting my inner world here? What's affecting my mind and my emotions and what are we actually doing with all of this? You know, so yeah, I try to encourage people to do the same thing. You know, definitely get some guidance and get some help where you need it. But it's incredible when you study astrology and you use sidereal, when you connect those two, and it's just you're opening up all of these different channels and avenues that weren't open to you before when you're using tropical. I'm telling you, tropical is just a dead system that needs to go away forever, because I followed that shit for years and all it did was cause me pain, suffering, miscommunications, misunderstandings. Like it just effed me up big time, you guys. And that's why I am on this mission to just squash it. Because when you align with the sky and you align with what you're seeing, and it's real, it's true, like you just get different answers. You get somewhere else, and it's so freeing. It's so, you feel more aligned. You get the answers that you always knew you were holding in your heart. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is.
It'd be like going to the cardiologist and they're looking at your stomach. Like, what are you doing, guys? You're not even in the right part of the body. Like, this is insane.
Right.
Yeah.
It is.
It's nuts. It's literally nuts. And it's mind-blowing, really. That these people are still just telling like your average person and they got to know. They have to know. There's no way they don't know.
Yeah, it's mainstream. So yeah, it's all mainstream. And that's what sucks about what's going on in the world right now, is because we're finding out a lot of things that are mainstream that are just regular knowledge that, it's all lies. It's all deception. You've been deceived. And a lot of people don't like that. They'll never be deceived. They knew this all along. This is the truth. And you're the one being deceived. It's cognitive dissonance at its pretty extreme.
Yeah.
But I mean, what do you do when you have to let go of everything you thought you knew?
And like lose all your clients
and lose everything. You know?
That's so
your reputation.
You tap dance around it. You make all kinds of goofy justifications, like, oh, the tropicals really like your external world, and the sidereals your inner. No, dude, it's friggin' wrong. You're just doing it wrong.
It's just wrong. I've gotten zero help from my tropical chart. Okay, you guys. And trust me, I was all up in it, all about it. I spent 15 years behind the chair interviewing people, asking about their birthdays and what it is they like, and all of these other things. Like, who I thought I had Scorpios sitting in my chair that were obviously Virgos. Obviously, I mean, you just couldn't ignore it. And it pissed me off so much. I was finally like, what is this? Like, why does astrology not work? Why doesn't it not work? Because you can be talking to somebody about their tropical chart and it's only like half true if you're lucky. Like,
and that's why nobody takes it seriously. Because if you keep giving people like the incorrect information, they're not going to listen to you anymore.
Well, and sometimes I wonder if they're not just reading your body language and just telling you something you want to hear. Like, I don't want that either. I'm right. Here to confront the truth, what it is that's in. I mean, I wholeheartedly believe in this type of astrology, astronomical, constellational astrology. You have a map to the soul and what it is you planned on doing when you got here. It is a key. And the fact that, we're looking at the wrong shit and somebody's telling you the wrong stuff, you're going to believe that. You're going to go off with it. And it leads you into all these different fucked up situations. And you wonder why. And like, that was me. I was like, well, why is this doing that? And then I realized I Googled it. I just Googled it. It was like 3 a.m. Googling shit because I'm so mad. And I find out that tropical doesn't even use the real sky. I'm like, how did I not know this? Like, what? Because
that goes back to what I was saying. They don't tell you.
They don't tell you that.
They look you right in the eye and make you think that the sun is in Cancer.
Yeah.
And it's not. Like, it's not. So
that's the wonderful thing about technology, guys, and the wonderful thing about what we have going on in this world right now. We can connect with each other. We have devices to connect with each other, and we can actually connect with satellites and look at what the sky is doing. We can see where everything is. And this is not something we could do back in the 90s when we're buying Linda Goodman's sun sign book, to figure it all out. Like, am I this? Because in tropical, I'm an Aries sun, which, I might have had. I had a lot of fiery energy.
Well, you have strong Aries anyway. So
I have strong Aries anyway. So, that's where we get tricked. I think you meet people who are like, oh, no, I'm totally a Scorpio. Like, and they may have like a Mercury there. Or they may have like their Mars there, because they all kind of hang out together. Right. Yeah. Oh,
that does
sorry.
make a difference.
I didn't mean to get on my soapbox.
No, we need more soapboxes.
I just can't take it anymore.
If people don't talk about it and bring it to other people's attention, it's never going to go away. It's never going to stop. But I have seen over the last 10 years, I have seen a much bigger shift toward like people acknowledging like regular people,
Yeah.
Or like new people seem to. So like, it seems to me, and I could be wrong, but like younger people or like new people to astrology, they're now getting into it. They have more access to what's actually going on in the sky. And so they're more likely to consider sidereal than I think they were even 5-10 years ago. I would also say though, that is going to increase exponentially as the ISAA, the International Sidereal Astrology Association, becomes like it grows, the organization grows. You guys, we're not even 6 months old yet, right? And we're already on fire. Yeah. So that's only going to continue. We are probably going to be starting another YouTube channel here specifically for the ISAA. We will give you more information as that comes out. And then, so that's going to be cool too, but we're going to get it out there. We're going to get sidereal astrology to the mainstream, and we're going to start, tearing down the walls. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to upset the order, the old order.
Yeah. They've reigned long enough. I mean, come on.
Yes.
People are willing to be more honest with themselves now. After COVID, after all of this, I mean, there's not a whole lot of lies you can tell yourself anymore to get yourself through the day.
Yeah, people are getting tired of lies.
People are getting tired of it. They see it everywhere, and it's fake. And I didn't come here to be fake. I didn't come here to look at fake stuff. Let's
Me
get
neither.
real. Yeah, let's have fun too. I'll have fun doing it.
Well, speaking of fun, I hope you guys have fun. Thanks for being with us today.
Yeah.
Catherine, Jill Levy, Lorna the Merry Mystic, who else do we have in here? Saw a bunch of Mystic, Virgo.
Lenore, yeah.
Lenore, look up
Catherine.
astrology. Yep. Thank you guys for being with us. We will be back same time, same place next week, 11 a.m. Eastern. And happy full moon. Hope you can take advantage of some of this awesome Sagittarius energy, because Sagittarius is pretty awesome.
It is. It's so awesome. Like, it is. I like this energy.
Me too. All right. Well, take very good care of yourselves out there, and we'll see you next time.